They told you to hold. They called it conviction. They said the market always comes back for the faithful. That is the deadliest lie you will ever hear in speculation. Hope is the most expensive thing you can buy on Wall Street. It is the fuel that burns your capital down to ash. I have seen fortunes extinguished because a trader mistook stubbornness for strategy. The market does not care about your average price. It does not care about your conviction. It exists only to extract maximum capital from the weak and the sentimental. You sit there watching the price degrade. You feel the icy dread crawl up your spine. That moment, that instant of paralysis, is where the professional separates from the amateur. The amateur asks, "How much more can I lose?" The professional asks, "Where is the exit now?" You believe a catastrophic drawdown is an inevitable risk of the game. I tell you, it is the inevitable consequence of a failure of will. It is the punishment for trading with your feelings. A genuine drawdown, the kind that breaks a trader's spirit, is not an act of nature. It is a slow, self-inflicted execution. You are here because you are tired of that feeling. You are tired of the sleepless nights and the constant internal negotiations. You are ready to stop losing and ready to start protecting. I'm not talking about using a mental stop. A mental stop is nothing but a verbal contract with your own weakness. You will break that contract every single time the heat turns up. I'm talking about a mechanical, unforgiving system. I'm talking about the law. Drawdowns are not impossible in the market, but they are impossible for the disciplined trader. They are neutralized before they can mature into ruin. Today, I am giving you the 10 non-negotiable rules. These are the structural mandates that will shield your capital. They are high-volume price ceiling rules that structurally mandate risk mitigation before the market can touch your core equity. These rules will define your exit before you ever contemplate your entry. They will replace your fear with mechanical certainty. They are the foundation of survival. If you cannot execute these 10 rules, you do not belong in the market. You belong in a savings account. Listen closely. Your survival depends on this. Rule 1. The inviolable percentage rule. Your risk must be a fixed, fractional percentage of your total trading capital. Never vary this amount based on how good the setup looks. If you feel compelled to risk more, you are speculating with emotion, not logic. You must know your absolute ceiling of pain before you enter the position. Your total exposure is a mathematical equation, not a hopeful guess. This small, systematic risk is the cost of doing business. It ensures that no single failure can ever cripple your account. The moment you break this rule, you have already lost control. You have surrendered your plan to the momentary thrill of the bet. The market loves traders who believe they are smarter than statistics. You are not. Protect your principle above all else. This rule is the first line of defense. It is the absolute foundation of staying in the game. You must accept small defined losses to be available for the big defining wins. The percentage stop is the market's insurance policy against your own greed and ego. Never negotiate with mathematics. This rule demands cold, objective calculation. The risk must be so minor that the outcome of the trade does not alter your heart rate. Your position size is the key to managing your feelings. A loss that keeps you up at night is a loss that was too large. You must reduce the size of the position until the risk is irrelevant to your total wealth. The professional speculator risks pennies to gain dollars. The amateur risks $1 hoping for 10 cents. Do not confuse speculation with gambling. This is a business of fractional risk, systematically applied. Rule 2. The trend violation rule. The instant your stock breaks its dominant trend line, the line of least resistance, your stop is triggered. The move is over. Do not wait for a reversal or a small bounce. If the structure is violated, the professional money is shifting. You must act as the professional does without hesitation. Your original reason for the trade has vanished. The market is giving you an exit signal. Take it immediately. Trading against the trend is speculating against the flow of power. This is a fatal error. The stop should be placed slightly below the confirmed structural low that supports the uptrend. This is a technical position, not a dollar position. When that low fails, the trend has reversed or paused, and you have no business remaining invested. The market is telling you its direction is changing. Listen to the market, not your internal monologue. The market is never wrong. The greatest market forces align with the trend. Your stop is simply your recognition that the alignment has failed. A break of the trend is a mandatory exit. A trend is a sustained movement of supply and demand in one direction. The moment that movement stalls and reverses below a critical point, the pressure is off. You must leave with the pressure. Do not try to catch a falling knife. Do not assume the trend will reassert itself just for you. Cut the wire and preserve your power. Rule 3, the volume confirmation rule. A stop loss executed on high volume selling pressure is a validated stop. You must honor it without question. High volume at your stop price confirms that significant professional money is liquidating. This is not just noise. This is institutional action. If the price hits your stop on low volume, you can analyze it for a possible whipsaw. But if the volume explodes when the critical support breaks, the verdict is final. Do not fade the volume. Volume is the energy of the market. It confirms the truth behind the price move. Heavy selling volume is a stamp of professional consensus. When the crowd rushes for the exit, you must be the first one through the door. Respect the volume, respect the power behind the move. It is the clearest sign that you must preserve your capital and step aside. The stop is placed. The price is hit. The volume spikes. That sequence is the market's definitive verdict. Any hesitation after that confirmation is trading against reality. Volume tells you who is making the move. When the big players are selling, you do not stand in their way. Your only objective is to be out and observing. The price action may lie, but the volume never lies about the conviction behind the action. A high-volume stop is a clean and conclusive end to the trade. Rule 4, the time limit. Rule. Capital that is stationary is capital that is dying. A stop loss is not just for price, it is also for time. If a trade does not move in the anticipated direction within a specified period, 3 to 5 days for instance, you must exit. The market is telling you the time is not right for this stock. Your analysis might be correct eventually, but your timing is fatally flawed. Waiting ties up capital that could be deployed elsewhere, in a position that is moving now. The cost of inertia is opportunity loss. You are trading time, not just price. If the stock refuses to trend, it is a sign of underlying weakness or massive overhead supply. Exit, wait, and reevaluate the next time the stock shows clear intent. Do not allow your trade to become a passive investment born out of neglect. Movement is life, stagnation is decay. The market rewards speed and intensity. A stock that is ready to move should move immediately upon breakout or entry. If it lingers, it is a danger to your portfolio. Your capital is a finite resource. You must deploy it where the chances of immediate profit are highest. Stagnation is a form of loss. Respect the time stop. It forces you to deploy capital efficiently. It prevents you from falling in love with a dead idea. Rule 5. The capital exposure rule. The basket rule. Never risk the same percentage on one trade that you risk on your entire basket of ideas. Your total exposure across all positions must be strictly capped. Even if you have 10 perfect setups, the combined risk cannot exceed a defined percentage of your total capital. This rule prevents a systemic market shock from wiping out your entire account simultaneously. Risk is cumulative. The market is one entity, not a collection of isolated charts. One sector collapse can take out several of your unrelated trades. If you are risking 1% per trade, your total open risk should be capped at, say, 5 or 6%. This systemic stop-loss protects you from unforeseen correlations and black swan events. Never bet the farm on the collective promise of 5 separate seeds. They all grow in the same field. This is the portfolio-level stop that protects the integrity of your capital base. Your total exposure must always be a fraction of what could cripple you. The professional understands that the only way to survive market crashes is to have minimal exposure when they arrive. The basket rule is discipline amplified. It is the ultimate check against overconfidence. No matter how right you feel, the combined risk must always be managed. Rule 6. The profit protection rule, the trailing stop. Once a trade moves substantially in your favor, your stop must immediately move to the break-even point. This is non-negotiable. The moment you are running a profit, that stop becomes an asset protector, not a risk manager. Once the trade moves further, the stop must trail the price, locking in gains. Never allow a successful, established trade to become a loss. This is the definition of indiscipline and greed. You must treat paper profits as your property. The trailing stop is your fence protecting your territory from market encroachment. You give back only what the trend absolutely demands. The stop moves only one way, up. This is the mechanism that turns successful speculation into protected wealth. Do not permit generosity to the market with your hard-won cash. The greatest error is letting your winner degenerate into a loser. This destroys morale and capital simultaneously. The trailing stop is your insurance against psychological ruin. Your profits belong to you once the market confirms the move. Lock them in. Move the stop to defend your equity. It is the only way to compound wealth effectively. A profitable trade must never become a speculative event again. It has crossed the line from risk to asset. Treat it as such. Rule 7. The psychological distance rule. Your stop-loss must be placed where, if hit, your original bullish thesis is demonstrably wrong. It must be placed at a level that makes no rational sense to continue holding. Do not place it based on what you can afford to lose. Place it based on what the market proves to be wrong. The distance must be great enough to avoid noise, but close enough to preserve capital. It must be at a structural point of breakdown. This placement forces mechanical execution because the market, not your conviction, is doing the talking. A stop too close is gambling. A stop too far is negligence. Find the pivot point where the market structure fails. That is the only valid location for the stop order. You are seeking the point of maximum pain for the weakest holders. Your stop is the point where the cost of being wrong is realized. It must be clear, objective, and unforgiving. Do not let your imagination influence your placement. The market provides the signal. You provide the execution. The psychological distance ensures that when the signal is triggered, your emotional attachment to the idea is already severed. The stop must scream failure. Only then will you be willing to honor it instantly. Rule 8. The confirmation of error. Rule. When your stop is hit, the market has confirmed your initial premise was flawed. Your role is not to argue. Your role is to accept the feedback and move on. The stop is not an enemy. It is the ultimate teacher. It protects you from the emotional spiral of the losing trade. Never try to get even with the market. That is the path of the degenerate. The stop is the cost of tuition for your education in speculation. It is the cheapest price you can pay to learn the truth. Accept the loss, execute the order, and immediately turn your attention to the next opportunity. Do not look back at the chart with regret or resentment. The professional acknowledges the error and shifts the capital. The market does not owe you a recovery. A loss is simply a piece of data. It tells you your timing was off or your analysis was incomplete. It is information that must be used immediately, not mourned. Your capital is a bullet you can only fire once. Do not waste a second shot arguing over the first one that missed. Reload and aim again. Rule 9, the anchor point rule. Your stop-loss must always be anchored to a clear, high-volume price structure. It must not be an arbitrary distance below your entry price. Look for the confirmed support, the accumulation shelf, or the prior successful swing low. These points are where professional money has previously defended the price. When these anchors fail, the structure is compromised. An arbitrary percentage is a soft target. A structural breakdown point is a hard, visible line in the sand. When that line is crossed, the game is over. If you cannot identify a structural anchor point, you should not be in the trade. This is the technical discipline that gives your exit logic and authority. The stop must be placed behind a wall of established supply or demand. If the wall is breached, the move is invalidated. It is as simple as that. Your stop is a function of price action, not a function of your account size. The market structure dictates the risk. Your capital management dictates the position size. Never place your stop in a place that the market can easily touch through normal fluctuation. It must be strategically placed where genuine failure is confirmed. Rule 10. The drawdown limit rule. You must establish a total systemic drawdown limit for your entire trading account. If your account equity falls below this critical threshold, you stop trading entirely. This is the ultimate non-negotiable emergency brake. When you hit this limit, you liquidate all positions and walk away from the screen for a minimum of 2 weeks. This forced rest protects you from the psychological trauma of revenge trading. It forces you to reset, reevaluate your system, and repair the damage to your discipline. This rule is the final defense against blowing up. It is the recognition that the problem is no longer the market. The problem is you and your current execution. You must step away to regain your objectivity. The market will always be there. This rule is the recognition that the most dangerous risk is a broken mind. Protect your mental capital as fiercely as your financial capital. A string of losses corrupts judgment. A forced rest restores sanity. The system failure is the ultimate stop. It is the stop that preserves your long-term ability to function as a professional speculator. You must honor it with absolute integrity. The market presents infinite variables. Your response must be finite and systematic. These 10 rules are not suggestions. They are the laws of capital preservation. You came here seeking a strategy. I have given you something far more valuable. A methodology for survival. The greatest profits are only available to those who survive long enough to claim them. You must be in the game to win the game. The market cannot hurt you if you refuse to let it. The only thing that causes devastating loss is the trader's failure to execute the predetermined plan. The crowd holds on. They wait for a bounce. They pray for a reversal. This sentiment is the liquidity professional money feeds on. You are no longer the crowd. You are a speculator. Your loyalty is to your capital, not to your stocks. You must view the stop-loss order as a tax. It is the unavoidable small cost of entry into the world of opportunity. The man who accepts this small tax mechanically and repeatedly is the man who ultimately claims the kingdom. He does not fear the loss. He embraces the exit. The only difference between the winner and the loser is not their predictions, but their execution when they are wrong. The winner cuts the loss short. The loser nurses the poison. Discipline is the only true leverage in speculation. It is the difference between a minor setback and financial ruin. These rules neutralize the emotional triggers that precede maximum loss potential. They turn panic into protocol. The battlefield is not the chart. The battlefield is the mind. Conquer your hope and your fear, and you conquer the market. Your trading must become boring. It must become automatic. The excitement belongs to the amateurs who will soon be liquidated. Do the work. Set the stop. Execute the plan. The drawdown is impossible if the rules are inviolable. The true goal is capital preservation. Profit is merely the reward for its strict adherence. This is the fundamental truth of the speculative life. If these words hit you, it means you're not here by accident. Subscribe now, like this video, and leave a comment. That simple action helps more people find this content, and it tells me that my work still matters. But the battlefield of the market is the mind, not the chart. If you want to understand the true psychology of speculation, you must read the one book that defines the game. I am talking about Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. It is not historical. It is a permanent education in human nature and market cycles. The book is pure truth. Get your copy today. The link is in the description below.